Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn a topic from background to the study of English literature, which is prescribed for semester 5 English literature. And the topic that we are going to study today is types, kinds, division, forms, classification of comedy. As we all know, drama can be divided under various subtypes. The first type of drama can be called as tragedy. Second type of drama can be called as comedy. So what does comedy mean? The drama which deals with the lighter side of life, that type of drama is called as comedy. Or rather I can say that the drama which ends happily, the drama is which is dealing with the lighter or the happy side of life, that type of drama is called as comedy. This comedy is further divided into various types, various kinds, and various divisions. So in today's lecture, what we are going to learn, we are going to learn the various types, kinds, division, forms, and classification of comedy. So when we speak about the types or divisions or kinds of the comedy, I can say that comedy can be divided according to two types. It can be divided according to form or structure. It can be divided according to the theme. According to the form and structure, comedy can be further divided as the classical comedy, and second type of comedy according to the form and structure is romantic comedy. According to the theme, according to the subject matter, comedy is further divided under five subtypes. The first one is the comedy of humors, second one is the gentle comedy, third one is the comedy of manners, fourth one is the restoration comedy of intrigue, and fifth one is the sentimental comedy. As I have said that when we are thinking about the various types, kinds, division, and forms of comedy, we can say that comedy can be divided according to two types. It can be divided according to the form and structure. It can be divided according to the theme. According to the form and structure, comedy is further divided into two subtypes. The first one is the classical comedy. Second one is the romantic comedy. In the same way, comedy can be divided under five subtypes according to the theme, according to the subject matter. And those five subtypes are: first one is the comedy of humors, second one is the gentle comedy, third one is comedy of manners, fourth one is restoration comedy of intrigue, and fifth one is the sentimental comedy. So one by one we will learn what are these various types of comedy. So as I have said that according to the form and structure, the comedy is further divided under two types. First one is the classical comedy, second one is the romantic comedy. So we will learn what we mean by, what is the meaning of the classical comedy, or what means how the classical comedy is, what it follows, which are the rules and conventions according to which the classical comedy is written. So I can say that the comedy which is based on the rules and conventions which are laid down by great Greek masters, that can be called as the classical comedy, or the comedy which follows the rules which are laid down by these great Greek masters, and it is written according to their, what we can say, instructions, that can be known as the classical comedy. Or rather, the comedy which follows the rules laid down by Aristotle and other great Greek masters, that type of comedy is called as the classical comedy. So what are the main features of the classical comedy? What are these rules are? What are these conventions are? What we can say, what is said into these conventions? And we can say that the comedy which follows, which observes the theory of three unities, the comedy which observes or uses the chorus, which employs the chorus, that type of comedy can be known as the classical comedy. So what are these three unities are? What is the theory of three unities? What is the use of chorus? How it is used by the classical writers? So one by one we will learn all these things. So the theory of three unities is noticeable in the writings of the great writer Aristotle, and he has spoken about, he has, what we can say, discussed this theory into his famous book Poetics. And in Poetics he speaks about only two theories directly, means there is mention of only two theories over there. It is unity of time and unity of action, and then unity of place is itself implied in the first theory. It is implied in the unity of time. So one by one we will get the meaning, or what is the theory of what is the theory of, what we can say, time, what is the theory of action, and what is the theory of place. So first of all, thinking or discussing about the unity of time, what does unity of time, or what does the theory of unity of time says? unity of time, or in the unity of time, while describing about the classical tragedy or classical comedy, it says that classical tragedy or classical comedy must confine itself to the single revolution of sun. Means it clearly says that whenever a dramatist is going to write his drama, is going to write his play, whenever he is going to choose the story or the plot for his particular comedy or the tragedy, at that time he should take into notice that whatever the plot he is going to write in the form of the tragedy or comedy, he should be able to present that particular story, present that particular plot within the speculated time on the stage. That's why while choosing his plot, while choosing the events, while choosing the incidents for the sake of comedy or the tragedy, he should be very particular that incidents which can be shown within the speculated time of 3 to 4 hours on the stage, those should be chosen by him. The incidents which are spreading over the span of several years to more than 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, 25 years, those should be clearly avoided by the dramatist. Tragedy or comedy must confine itself to the single revolution of the sun. At the same time, time required by the plot of the play should not be more than 3 to 4 hours. So whatever the events, whatever the story that has been created by the dramatist in the form of comedy or in the form of tragedy, it should be able to be presented within the speculated time of what we can say 3 to 4 hours. Events exceeding to many years would appear unreal or illogical, and they will not be able to be shown on the stage into that particular time frame. So this is the sayings of unity of time. So what does unity of action says? Unity of action says that plot of the play should be either purely comic or purely tragic. If the dramatist is going to write a tragedy, the plot of the play should be purely tragic. If the dramatist is going to write the comedy, the plot of the play should be purely comic. No, there should not be mixture, there should not be blend of the tragic and the comic action into the same plot. And another important thing that has been told in the unity of action is that no subplot unconnected with the main plot should be introduced into the drama. So whatever the, it is very clear that whenever the dramatist is going to write the drama, whenever he is creating his tragedy or the comedy, he will create the main plot, and with main plot he will create many subplots. But at the same time, he should think in his mind that he should take into notice that whatever subplot he is creating in the story, that subplot should not be what we can say, which he should only introduce the subplots which are connected with the main plot, which are connected with the main story. The subplots which are not related with the main plot, the subplots which are unconnected with the main plot, should not be introduced by the dramatist. The third theory, unity of place, it says that the plot of the play should remain honest to a single place. Whenever the dramatist is choosing the settings, choosing the city, choosing the place, while presenting his story, while creating his story, at that time he should take into notice that whatever the story he is creating and whatever the place that he is using into his story, he should not make frequent changes into the place of the drama. He should remain honest to a single place, and this is the saying of the unity of place. So this is the theory of what we can say three unity. The unity of time is there, unity of action is there, unity of place is there, and if at all some dramatist, some what we can say writer is using these unities into his play for writing his comedy, that type of comedy can be called as the classical comedy. Another important thing in classical comedy is that it uses or employs the chorus, employment of the chorus, use of the chorus. So what chorus is? Chorus is the integral part of any of the classical drama. Either it may be classical tragedy, it may be classical comedy, but whenever someone is writing the classical drama, the use of chorus is very must. So why this chorus has been used into the drama? There are three important purposes of using the chorus into the classical drama, into the classical comedy. The first, what we can say, use of chorus is that it reports the events those have already happened in the play. When the play starts, when that what we can say play of 3 to 4 hours starts, when that what we can say, when audience comes to witness that play, watch that play, see that play. So whenever that play starts, before that play starts, some incidents were already happened, or the dramatist has to wants to start his story of the drama from particular event, from particular point of time. So whatever the events which were happened before that drama, whatever the events were, whatever the incidents which were happened before beginning of the first scene of the first act of the play, those events are reported in the form of the chorus. Secondly, we can say that it gives the narration of those events which are not able or possible to be shown or presented on the stage. Those events are reported in the form of the chorus. Thirdly, at every time from the medium of the classical drama, the dramatist wants to give some kind of moral message to the audience. So what is the purpose of chorus? The chorus deepens the moral teaching of the play, and it sends the audience home with firm belief in God. And then what we can say, this kind of message, this kind of moral thing, moral lessons which is inside that comedy, which is what we can say, which is in that particular classical drama, that kind of moral message, that kind of moral lesson has been deepened with the help of the chorus. And whenever the audience goes, he goes home with that particular kind of moral message, and that moral message has been given in the form of the chorus. So I can say that these are the three important purpose of using chorus into the classical drama, using chorus into the classical comedy. And in short, we can say that the drama which follows the theory of three unities, the drama which uses chorus, that type of drama can be called as the classical drama. So we can say that according to the form and structure, the comedy is further divided under two types. The first one was the classical comedy, and second one is the romantic comedy. We have just now seen what are the characteristic features of the classical comedy. Now we will move on to the romantic comedy. So what romantic comedy is? I can say that the romantic comedy is completely opposite to the classical comedy. Whatever the rules, whatever the conventions, whatever the theory of unities, whatever the theory of chorus which is employed by, which is used by the classical comedy, it is completely violated by the romantic drama. So we can say that there is no set pattern in the romantic comedy. It freely violates the norms and rules which are laid down by the Aristotle and other great Greek masters. At the same time, it freely violates the theory of three unities. It does not follow unity of place, it does not follow unity of action, it does not follow unity of time. And then plot of the romantic drama, plot of the romantic comedy is purely is mixture of tragic and comic action. Means we can say that whenever the classical drama or the classical writer says that if at all some writer is going to write the tragedy, then at that time he should completely deal with the tragic action. If at all some dramatist is going to write the classical comedy, he should deal with completely with the comic action. But while writing the romantic comedy, the writers of the romantic comedy does not believe in these rules and convention, and they freely mix the tragic and comic action into the same plot, into the same drama. And this is that we are not writing for the sake of the Greek people, we are not writing on the basis of the rules, but we are writing according to the popular taste of the audience. And if at all audience demands us that there should be mixture of tragic and comic actions, if they enjoy watching this particular action and all those things onto the stage, then we will mix those actions and we will show, or we will write according to the particular taste of the audience. And we can say that Shakespeare is ever shining name in the field of romantic comedy. All the comedies which are written by William Shakespeare, all the comedies which are created by William Shakespeare are written by following what we can say romantic structure. They are all written as a romantic comedies, because it does not follow any of the rules and conventions which are laid down for the classical comedy or the classical tragedy. So all the drama, all the comedies created by William Shakespeare are written, or they are all the best or the finest examples of the romantic comedy. So I can say that according to the form and structure, comedy is divided into two types. The first one was the classical tragedy, second one was the romantic comedy. The classical comedy follows the rules and conventions which are laid down by the Greek masters. The romantic comedy freely violates those rules. Now we shall move on to the forms, divisions, or types of comedy according to the theme, according to the subject matter. I can say that according to the subject matter, comedy is further divided under 5 subtypes. The first one is the comedy of humors. Second one is the gentle comedy. Third one is the restoration comedy of intrigue. Fourth one is the comedy of manners, and fifth one is the sentimental comedy. One by one, we will learn all these subtypes of comedy according to the theme. So first type according to the theme is comedy of humors. The writer of what we can say comedy of humors believes that every human being has some kind of eccentricity in his behavior, in his nature, and that eccentricity in human behavior is created because of the excess of some kind of fluid, some kind of body fluid. And he says that some fluids are there in human body, and blood is there, phlegm is there, choler is there, bile is there, and if at all some kind of, or among these four fluids, if at all some fluid is little bit excess in the human body, and because of that excess of that particular fluid in the human body, there is the eccentricity comes in the human behavior. And based on that eccentricity in human behavior, a comic plot is created by the writer, a comic, what we can say, theme is created by the writer, and he creates some comedy in the drama. He writes his drama, and if that drama is based on the eccentricity of the human behavior, that type of drama is called as the comedy of humors. And this kind of drama has been started into English by Ben Jonson, and the best example of this drama is Every Man in His Humor. Second type of drama according to the theme, second type of comedy according to the theme is the gentle comedy. As the name implies, this particular type of comedy ridicules the artificiality, ridicules the behavior, ridicules the ways and manners, or the artificial ways and manners of the 18th century. And this kind of drama has been made famous by Kohli and Sibber, and the best example is Careless Husbands, and the writers are Kohli and Sibber. Third type of drama or third type of comedy according to the theme is restoration comedy of intrigue. Intrigue means plotting. It is what we can say kind of plot which has been made by a person or group of person to outwit, to defeat another person or another group of persons. So it is originated, as the name implies, that the restoration comedy of intrigue has been originated during the Restoration age, and it is filled with the scenes, events, situations which are arising out of the dishonesty in love, dishonesty in friendship, dishonesty in life. So if at all some drama has been based on the intrigue, if at all some drama has been, some comedy has been based on the dishonesty in love and life and friendship and all other matters of life, if that drama is written according to that, that type of comedy is called as the restoration comedy of intrigue. And the best example is The Way of the World. Third type of comedy according to the theme is comedy of manners. This type of comedy is also originated during the Restoration age, and this comedy says that it is based on the ways and manners of, once again, 18th century. How the 18th century people were behind money, behind richness, behind pomp and show. They were, what we can say, behaving or showing their showy nature or artificiality, or they are running behind the richness and money. And all those things are ridiculed in the form of the drama, or dramatist writes his drama by taking all this false behavior of the 18th century people and creates a fine plot of the play and writes the comedy and creates some laughter. That type of comedy is called as comedy of manners. It is, what we can say, ridiculing, criticizing the language and behavior of the highly stylized 18th century society. And the best example of this particular drama is Designed for Living, written by Noel Coward. The fifth type of comedy according to the theme is the sentimental comedy. So what does sentimental comedy means? As the name implies, in this particular type of drama, particular type of comedy, we find that in place of laughter, in place of lighter mood, in place of, what we can say, comedy, excess of emotions are there, excess of sentiments are there. It is based on the, what we can say, sentiments and emotions and love affairs, and heroines are crying over there, and the heroes, or the, what we can say, the lovers are just moving behind them to make them laugh and make them, what we can say, easy, and make them little bit lighter in their mood. But then we can say that the drama or the comedy which is dealing with this excess of sentiments, with this excess of emotions, the comedy which has tears in place of laughter, means which is filled with the characters like serious lovers and pathetic heroines, that type of comedy is called as the sentimental comedy. And the best example of this particular kind of comedy is The Conscious Lovers, written by Richard Steele. So these are the various 5 subtypes of the comedy according to the theme. As we have seen, the first subtype was comedy of humors, second one was the gentle comedy, third one was the restoration comedy of intrigue, fourth one was comedy of manners, fifth one was the sentimental comedy. So I can say that these are the various types of comedy according to the form and structure and according to the theme. So once again, we will take a quick recap of what we have learned about the various types, kinds, division, forms or classification of the comedy. So I can say that comedy can be divided according to two types. It can be divided according to form and structure. According to the form and structure, comedy is further divided as a under two subtypes. The first one is the classical comedy, second one is the romantic comedy. According to the theme, according to the subject matter, it is further divided under five subtypes. The first one is the comedy of humors, second one is the gentle comedy, third one is comedy of manners, fourth one is restoration comedy of intrigue, and fifth one is the sentimental comedy. So as we have said that according to the form and structure, the comedy is further divided under two types, the classical comedy and the romantic comedy. What classical comedy is? The comedy which is written by following the rules and conventions which are laid down by the great Greek masters like Aristotle. That type of comedy is called as the classical comedy. What these rules are, what these conventions are, in very what we can say clear way, we can say that the comedy which follows the three unities, the comedy which uses the or employs the chorus, that type of comedy can be called as the classical comedy. So what these three unities are is, in three unities, the first one is the unity of theory of unity of time, then unity of action and unity of place. What does unity of time says? That the incidents which can be shown within the speculated time, that should be wrote, that should be included in the drama, and it is the sayings of the unity of time. What does unity of action says? There should not be mixture of tragic and comic action into the same plot, and at the same time no subplot which is unconnected with the main plot should be introduced into the drama. And unity of place should be unity of place says that there should not be frequent changes into the place of the drama, means he should, or the dramatist should, remain honest with one single place. Then another important thing for the sake of classical comedy is that it should use or employ the chorus. And why chorus has been used into classical comedy or the classical drama? It is used for three purposes. The first one is it reports the events those have already happened in the play. Secondly, it gives narration of those events which are not possible to be shown or presented on the stage. And thirdly, it deepens the moral teaching of the play and sends the audience home with the firm belief in the God. So then another type of comedy according to the form and structure is romantic comedy, and it is completely opposite to the classical comedy. It has no any set pattern, it freely violates the rule, it makes the blend of mixture of comic and tragic action. It does not follow the theory of unity. It, what we can say, does not follow unity of action, unity of place, unity of time, and at the same time it is written according to the popular taste of the audience. And the greatest master of this particular kind of comedy is William Shakespeare. According to the theme, the comedy is further divided under five subtypes. The first one was comedy of humor, second one is gentle comedy, third one is restoration comedy of intrigue, fourth one is comedy of manners, and fifth one is the sentimental comedy. As the name implies, the comedy of humors is based on, or the humor or the laughter is created by writing the story based on the eccentricity of the human behavior. The gentle comedy ridicules the artificiality of the society. The restoration comedy of intrigue is based on the plot, based on the intrigues. It is arising out of the dishonesty in life, dishonesty in love. Fourthly, the comedy of manners is once again created during the, or originated during the Restoration age, and it, what we can say, criticizes the ways or the artificial ways and manners of the 18th century, or rather highly stylized language, behaviors, or false ways and manners of the 18th century people. And the last one, the sentimental comedy, as the name implies that it is based on the excess of sentiments. It is based on the excess of emotions, means in place of laughter we will find that tears are there, and based on those, what we can say, tearful events, this particular kind of comedy, but rather the drama ends at a happy note. That's why it is called as the sentimental comedy. So we can say that these are all the various types, kinds, divisions, forms, and classification of comedy. So according to the theme and structure, according to the form and structure, and according to the theme. So I hope that you might have understood and enjoyed this lecture. Thank you, all of you.